Hey, what's going on? Tom Keenan here. Normally top class installations. It's on shirt tonight. Um, Wanted to come here and go live because I've had a large number of people contact me asking me about the process of actually writing a book. And I figured it would be pretty cool if I came in tonight and went live and kind of explained how it was done and how it went about. And my intent here is to inspire other people to just go and do it, because honestly, I don't think the process was difficult. By no means. Was it a shit ton of work? Yeah, absolutely it was. However, it wasn't a difficult process. So I think that a lot of people out there could definitely do this. And like, to me, it's the best business card in the world. This is like the biggest lead magnet you could ever create for yourself from a marketing perspective. So if you own a business, or you provide a service, or even if I don't care if you work for a company. I mean, imagine employers coming after you just because you have the title of author in front of your name on a resume. So I think it's something that's attainable for a lot of people. I think the doors have opened up from what it used to be. There's ways for people to self-publish now, where several years ago that just wasn't the case. If you wanted to publish a book, you had to go sell it. So thanks guys for hopping in over here. I'm seeing a lot of common names, a lot of guys who are in my business and my line of work. Thank you guys for your support. Yes, Brian, you can pick up chicks too. I wouldn't know anything about that though. I'm a very happily married man. So anyway, I'll give you the whole rundown here. About a year ago, I was at a conference in Dallas, Texas, and there was a guy there who was speaking. His name is Matt Monero. He owns a business called Commercial Fleet Financing, CFF, and he was there. Just happened to be at the same conference that I was at, and he was invited, kind of an impromptu invite, to come on and just talk about his story and his book for a couple minutes. And the guy went up there and he hit me hard. He impacted me like tremendously. He's got a great book. I've actually talked about it before. I've posted about it a lot. It's called You Need More Money by Matt Monero. So when you get a chance, definitely go check that out. He's a real solid guy too, powerhouse in business. At the end of his speech, he said these simple words. And I happened to be in the front row in the audience that day. His words were, "Write the damn book." And that's what I did. So that was May of 2018. In November of 2018 is kind of when I decided to take action. And if any of you know me here, like, that's a long time. Usually if I have an idea to go do something, it's immediate, or it happened yesterday. And I was dragging my feet for quite a while. I was definitely scared. It was a scary process. I didn't know what I wanted to write about. I didn't know how it was going to be received by other people. And then finally, it was just like, all right, whatever. Like, screw everybody else. I'm more writing the book for me so I can learn more about my experiences and pull more from them than maybe impacting other people. And obviously I want to impact other people as well. But that was one of the things that I was thinking about, just to be brutally honest with you. So I have a network that I'm involved in, and I work directly with Ryan Stewman over at Break Free Academy. He's one of my business coaches. And in his network of people, he's got this really badass chick named Hillary Jastrom, and Catherine, who works with Hillary. These are two of the most amazing people you could ever possibly be introduced to. Even if you don't do work with them, like, you should just go and connect with them, because they're just awesome people. So anyway, Hillary specializes in editing books and getting people published. So I reached out to Hillary and I said, hey, I got an idea. Is this even realistic? Is this going to work? Do I have what it takes to be an author? I was very unsure about myself. And after, a 15 or a 20-minute conversation, she's like, yeah, let's do this. She says, you got a good story behind you and we got this. So I hired Hillary flat out. And the first step of the process was we created an outline. And then once the outline was created, then I went to work. So the outline creation was Hillary and I working together. It took about, I think it was either 3 or 4 phone calls. They were about 1 hour a piece. And each phone call, I was literally just telling her stories and things that had happened to me in life and in business and this and that. And there she was, typing away the whole time. And I guess it was the last session. It was either the 3rd or 4th session, whichever one was last. She comes back and she has this Google Doc that is a bulleted checklist, chapters, titles. This is what the book's going to be about. This is exactly what you need to go and start doing your research on and write the book about. So she gave me the framework of Unfuck Your Business. And, I really owe a lot to her, and I'm so grateful for our relationship, because without that guidance, without that coaching, I would have been all over the place. I would have talked about 15 or 20 different things that weren't even related to what was discussed in the book. So moving along in the process, we write the outline, and then she hands it back to me and she says, all right, go to work, start writing your book. And that's what I did. So there's 2 schools of thought here, and I'm going to just be very transparent and tell you which route that I went. Just let me get to it. So school number 1 is you basically go in there and you type everything in. It might take you a while to do it. The other school of thought is to transcribe your book. So basically what that means is you're going to pull up in your phone, your computer, whatever tool you want to use, and you're going to record your voice, your audio. I use an app called rev.com, which I highly recommend to anyone here who's doing anything business-wise. It's got a ton of different use cases other than writing a book. I'm not going to go into them now because I could do a whole video just on that alone. So rev.com is what I used, and I actually dictated my book chapters into my iPhone. Once I was done with each chapter, I then sent it out for transcription. The transcription service is roughly $1 a minute. So, I had a couple $100 just to get my voice transcribed into something that was on, something you can edit in a file or a document. This right here, for me, really streamlined and condensed the process. Rather than me being in front of a computer, hunting and pecking. I can't type. I'm a car audio installer by trade. Like that's what I've always been good at. That's what I studied. I mean, I'm good with computers now because I've been forced to become, but I still hunt and peck on my keyboard. So that's what I did. I transcribed the book. So once the transcription was done, I compiled everything. I sent it over to Hillary and Catherine, and they got to work. And oh my God, did they work. So I sent over this raw beast with this stuff kind of all over the place. Even though I had the outline that Hillary gave me, this stuff was just all over the place. I talked about all these different things, and my tenses were all wrong. And, just a lot of stuff that you learned, a lot of stuff from English class in high school or college, if you want, that you're probably like, I'm never going to use that. Yeah, well, we were using it. So Hillary and Catherine went to work. And so so let me give you the timeline here. November 2018, the book outline is completed. And by, I think, January 10th, January 15th-ish of 2019, I had the book fully dictated. So in that time period, I did my research. I did anything that I need to compile, put together, bullet notes. So when I was actually dictating the book, I would go off of a note or say, hey, these are the 10 things that I need to cover within the chapter to kind of keep myself on pace and on track. When I handed it over to them, like I said, it was just a complete animal. It was a beast. And these two amazing humans took this, and I think the word count was something obscene at the time. It was like, over 100,000 words. So Hillary and Catherine take this. They go through the first round of edits, and they hand it back to me, and I'm like, oh my God, what is this mess you just gave back to me? I was blown away. First of all, I've never seen Microsoft Word formatted in a way that they format it. They have this right-hand column. They have these crazy notes in there, and they're highlighting things. They're talking back and forth from each other. I was just like, oh my God, complete sensory overload. And I'm a tech geek, like I do tech shit in cars for a living. And I was just like, whoa, what the hell's going on here? So I call Hillary up and I'm like, hey, like this is like overwhelming. What do we do? And she's like, nah, don't worry, I got you. She's the most calming person ever. It's so amazing. So we go through it. She asked some questions. Catherine asked some questions. We get clear on a couple of things. A couple of weeks later, I get the second round edits back. So they now have edited the initial transcriptions twice. So at this point in time, they're not the author of the book. They can't take it any further. They say, all right, Tom, we got this thing cleaned up, but it's still a disaster. It's still a big mess. And we need you to come in now and start editing the book and then give it back to us. Once you give it back to us, then the final edit, the final proofreading is going to come through. We check things out, dot the I's, cross the T's, and the book is, we publish the book. So here I am, January 15th. I send this thing off, and I'm like, this project's 75, 80% done. I got this locked down. Man, that writing a book was easy. So I thought to myself, and holy shit, was I wrong? It's like I posted up on Facebook a week or two ago about, when you think a project is nearing completion, in reality, you're only 40% done. And the whole reason that I posted that is because that's the main lesson I learned from this project in my life of writing my first book. And it's funny, I've learned this lesson before. If you do anything trade-wise, you build anything, you build a car, you build an audio system, you put sheetrock up in a room, you do a project around the house. It's the same thing. You think you're 75, 80% done. In actuality, you're only 40% done. It's like framing a house. You frame a house, the frame goes up in 2 or 3 weeks. It's the detail work. It's the trim work, the crown molding, the molding around the doors, the windows, all of that final detail work, which is where, probably 90% of your labor goes into. And that's where I'd fooled myself. So my initial goal was to have the book released and launched by April 15th, 2019. And I blew that goal out of the water, and not in a positive way. I think we released right around June 15th. So, major lessons learned there, which is, it's cool. I still got it done, which is fine. But now I know what to expect come next one, because I'm not done. This is just the beginning. So let's get back to the process here. So now this is January 15th. I give them the book, roughly January, February. Yeah, about March, middle of March, I got the second round edits back. And Hillary and Catherine said to me, all right, dude, it's all on you now. Clean this thing up, make sure everything's the right way. And oh, by the way, we cut 45,000 words out of the book. Your word count is still around 70-something thousand. And the genre of your book needs to be around 30,000 words. Like, really? Like, I had that much content? Like, whoa. Like, I overproduced on the front end tremendously. Imagine if I had been a little more focused on the front end, or had cleaned up some of the transcriptions before I handed them off to the editors. Imagine how much time would have been saved. These are all the little lessons you learn along the way that, I guess you need to experience it in order to figure it out. So I did it, man. And honestly, it was very difficult. It was not the glorious part of writing the book. Honestly, dictating the book and then getting the transcriptions produced, that was like cake. It was easy stuff to do. It was getting into the book and doing the edits myself. So I'll call them the third round edits. Okay. Third round edits that I was doing myself is where I dumped a tremendous amount of time. So, I've shot some videos here in my office before. This is my home office, by the way. And I have three computer monitors. All right. And yes, it does make me more productive during the day when I'm working. However, what I also learned, other lessons learned, it's distracting as shit when you really need to hyper focus on something. So what I wound up doing was I got to a point where I was like, yeah, I want this project done. It's like bugging me, and I need to focus and really grind it out and get stuff done. So what I did was I started just taking my laptop and going into a different room in the house. We got a Buffalo Wild Wings about a mile from my house here, and I would call up my staff and be like, "Don't bother me." I turned my phone off, my office phone. Auto reminders on auto responses on the email, and I would literally go into Buffalo Wild Wings. I think I did it for almost 2 weeks straight. Okay, at lunchtime, I'd go in there for 2, 3, 4 hours at a clip. I'd go into the far corner of the place, and I would plug in my charger, open up my MacBook, and I would just edit. And it was like, oh my God, the process would just dragged on and on and on. So the book now is 172 pages. Okay, we cut like another 30 or 40,000 words out of the book. So the book was hundreds of pages at that point with notes and edits all over the place. It was a complete mess. So going through it was a very time consuming process, but I'm so glad that I did go through it and, really reconsidered some of the things I was saying, some of the people I was mentioning in the book, and I got to a point where I thought I had it well enough where I gave it back off to Hillary and Catherine. Catherine picked the ball up at that time, and I'll call this the fourth round edits. Catherine picks it up, and I think it was 2, maybe even 3 weeks. It was a very short period of time that transpired, and I went to bed really late one night. I was here working in my home office, and that's like the old Tom was always working late, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, going to bed, and whatever. That was kind of the way I think my DNA is kind of wired. And over the past year and a half, with me working on myself, personal development stuff and exercise and a whole bunch of the shit I'm not going to go into now, I've been getting up at 5:30 in the morning every day. So I work these crazy hours this one night, and I think I wound up going to bed at like 3 o'clock or something. I wake up the next morning, and at 3:02, Catherine sent me an email with the finalized copy of the book. So here I am. Picture the most exciting Christmas morning you've ever had, where you can't wait to dive into your favorite toy that Santa Claus just delivered. So I wake up, and I think it was a Saturday, actually. I slept in late that day, which again is odd. I have kids running around my house like crazy. I got 3 kids, an awesome wife. They were already up and out and probably had eaten breakfast at this point. I woke up, and I grabbed my phone, which again, that's something I normally don't do first thing in the morning. But this day I was like, all right, well, I'll grab the phone. I look at the phone, and boom, I see an email. It's from Catherine. It's like, all right, well, maybe she's got a question. I pop this thing open, and there's my book. I sat up in bed, and I proceeded to open up that Word document on my iPhone, and I read the entire book, start to finish. And what Catherine was able to produce with her final edit of my book was it just blew me away. It was like, holy shit. Like, I handed these people this rough, raw animal, and it was like, yeah, man, I'm really going to put that out. Like, I don't know. And I can't stress to you enough how important it is to get the right people in your circle, get the right people in your life. Hire the damn coach. Hire the expert who knows what they're doing. You know, I say it time and time again, time is such a limited, irreplaceable asset that we've all been given. You know, once you spend it, you cannot get it back. You cannot make more of it. So yes, could I have written this book myself? Yeah, I think I'm a smart enough guy. I have enough ambition. I could have done it. And I think that's the case for 90% of the people who are probably watching this video right now. However, is that the smartest use of your time? Imagine if you had some direction. You know, think about it. I'll compare it to working out in the gym. Okay. You go into the gym every day by yourself and you work out. And in 3 months, how are you going to look? Now, if you had spent a couple bucks and you had hired a badass personal trainer who's going to whip your ass every time you go into the gym in the morning, how do you think you're going to look in 3 months? Are you going to look better than if you were to do it by yourself, or better with the trainer? I mean, that right there to me is just a clear answer. So that's kind of my whole theory on, you know, working with people who know what they're doing, coaches and whatnot. Some people are against it, and I'm a huge proponent of it. You know, I've worked closely with a couple of coaches business wise over the past couple of years, past 5 years or so, and it's transformed me. It's transformed my business. It's transformed my partner. It's transformed my employees. So get to it, man. The same thing goes to writing a book. You know, I can't speak highly enough about Hillary and Catherine and all the other people on their team. Matt's the guy who did my my cover artwork. You know, you guys can see the book right here behind me, hanging on the wall. A little gift my wife gave me for Father's Day. But yeah, great people. So if you're interested in writing a book, please do yourself a favor. Contact Hillary. And I believe she actually has a waiting list right now because she's in such high demand. When I tell you these people know what they're doing, I can't vouch for them enough. I mean, if they're awesome. They're experienced pros, flat out. So if you have any interest in this, definitely hit them up. I tagged them up in this live video. I haven't seen them pop in here, but hopefully they are watching. They are two powerhouse, amazing females, and I am very grateful to have them within my network. All right, so I hope this this gave you guys some insight into what it takes to write a book and the process from start to finish. If you have any questions or you want to know more about it or speak about it, feel free to hit me up in the DM. I'd be more than happy to speak to somebody and help somebody else out because that's what I'm about helping other people succeed in business. All right, thanks for tuning in. And if you want to grab a copy of the book, I'll tell you what. Anybody who's watching this video now, if you shoot me a DM and you want a copy of the book, I'll send you a signed copy for free. Just shoot me a DM and I'll hook you up. Thanks.